Here, on the western shores of Venezuela, lies a city cradled by water. This is Maracaibo. It rests at the point where the vast Lake Maracaibo narrows, preparing to meet the Caribbean Sea. The land is low and flat, shaped over millennia by the gentle but persistent forces of water and wind. It is a place defined by its relationship with the immense body of water that gives it its name and its character. The air here holds the warmth of the tropics, a constant, gentle presence that blankets the landscape day and night. It is a city that wakes not to the clamor of alarms, but to the soft, warm light of the equatorial sun. The story of Maracaibo is written in its geography. It is a natural gateway, a strategic point where inland waters funnel towards the open ocean. Now, let us rise. We ascend gently, effortlessly, as if carried on a thermal updraft. The ground falls away below, and our perspective shifts entirely. Details begin to merge into patterns, and the true scale of the landscape reveals itself. We are floating now, suspended in the warm, clear air high above the city. The world transforms into a living map, a mosaic of colors and textures. The horizon expands, a gentle curve where the deep blue of the sky meets the hazy edge of the earth. From up here, the world seems to breathe slowly, rhythmically. The city of Maracaibo unfolds beneath us like a carefully laid blanket. Streets become fine lines etched into the surface. Buildings become small geometric shapes, clustered together in some areas and spreading out in others. The dominant colors are the terracotta of tiled roofs, the deep green of trees, and the shimmering blue of the water that is never far from view. It is a composition of remarkable harmony. There is no sense of rush or urgency from this height. We are simply observers, drifting peacefully, watching the silent story of the city unfold. Our journey is a slow, graceful drift. We move with the gentleness of a cloud, allowing the scenery to pass beneath us without haste. It is like looking at a magnificent painting, where every brushstroke contributes to the whole, yet each can be admired on its own. Our gaze is drawn, inevitably, to the immense body of water that dominates the scene. This is Lake Maracaibo. From our high vantage point, it appears almost as an inland sea, a vast expanse of blue stretching to the horizon. It is not a uniform blue, but a shifting palette of shades. Near the shore, it is a lighter turquoise, revealing the sandy shallows beneath. Further out, it deepens to a rich sapphire, hinting at its profound depths. The surface is mostly calm, a mirror reflecting the vast, open sky above, dotted with the occasional fluffy white cloud. We can see the faint lines of currents on its surface, slow-moving rivers within the lake itself, a testament to the constant, silent exchange of waters. The lake is the heart of this region, the central feature around which everything else is arranged. Its sheer size is humbling, a reminder of the power and scale of nature. Looking down, we can trace the shoreline as it curves and meanders. In some places, the city comes right to the water's edge, its structures standing like sentinels on the coast. In other areas, the natural world reclaims the border. Here, dense mangrove forests create a tangled green fringe between land and water. The sun's light plays upon the water in a mesmerizing display. As our position shifts, the angle of the light changes, creating a shimmering path of silver and gold that stretches across the surface. This path, known as a sun glitter path, seems to lead from the horizon directly to us, a personal invitation from the sun itself. As our aerial journey continues, a remarkable structure comes into view, spanning the narrowest point of the lake. It is the General Rafael Urdaneta Bridge. From our high perch, it appears as a delicate, elegant ribbon laid carefully across the water. It connects the city of Maracaibo on the western shore with the eastern side of the lake, a vital link in this water world. The bridge's design is striking even from the air. The 5 central spans are supported by immense V-shaped pylons that rise from the water. They look like great concrete birds with wings outstretched, holding the roadway aloft. The cables that drape from these pylons are like fine threads, creating a beautiful rhythmic pattern against the blue of the water and sky. The structure has a sense of lightness and grace, belying the immense weight of concrete and steel from which it is made. We drift slowly over the bridge, watching its perfect symmetry unfold below. The shadow of the structure creates a long, dark line on the water's surface, a mirror image that shifts and ripples with the gentle movement of the lake. It does not impose on the landscape. Rather, it complements it, adding a stroke of human artistry to the natural canvas. There are no vehicles visible from this height, no signs of the constant motion it usually carries. It is simply a static form, a silent sculpture. It represents connection, a joining of two lands separated by water, but today, from our peaceful vantage point, it is an object of pure aesthetic beauty, a study in line and form. Now we turn our attention downward, lowering our gaze to the city itself. From this height, Maracaibo is transformed into a rich and varied tapestry. The most striking feature is the sea of rooftops, a mosaic of color and texture that tells a silent story of the city's history and character. The dominant hue is a warm terracotta, the color of traditional clay tiles that have been baked by the sun for generations. These patches of reddish-brown create a feeling of warmth and earthiness, grounding the city visually and connecting it to the land on which it is built. Interspersed with the terracotta are splashes of brighter colors. We see roofs painted in vibrant shades of blue, sunny yellow, and soft green. These are like cheerful notes in a larger composition, hints of the individuality of the homes they cover. Each colored square is a small statement, a patch of personal expression that, when seen from above, contributes to a delightful and unexpected pattern. The shapes of the buildings are as varied as their colors. We can distinguish the outlines of older colonial-era structures with their central courtyards, appearing as small, hollow squares. Newer buildings are simpler rectangles and L-shapes, arranged in more regular patterns. The arrangement is not a rigid grid, but a more organic layout that has evolved over time. Streets curve and wind, and blocks of buildings are of different sizes and orientations, creating a fascinatingly intricate design. It is a city plan drawn not by a single hand, but by the hands of many across the centuries. The tapestry of roofs, with its rich colors and varied shapes, is a beautiful and silent testament to the human community below. Woven into the urban tapestry of Maracaibo are beautiful patches of green. These are the city's parks and green spaces, appearing from our aerial viewpoint as emerald jewels set amongst the terracotta and concrete. They provide a vital contrast to the built environment, oases of nature that offer visual relief and a sense of tranquility. Some are large, expansive parks, with sweeping lawns and clusters of tall trees, their canopies forming a dense, textured carpet of deep green. Others are smaller, neighborhood squares, neat rectangles of grass and foliage tucked between city blocks. The trees are particularly magnificent from this perspective. We can see the majestic crowns of mango trees, the feathery fronds of palm trees, and the broad, shady canopies of salmon trees. Each species has a unique color and texture, from the bright, fresh green of new leaves to the dark, deep green of mature foliage. Their collective presence softens the hard edges of the city, bringing a sense of life and vitality to the urban landscape. The shadows they cast on the ground below are soft and dappled, creating intricate patterns that shift with the slow passage of the sun. Let us drift over one of the larger parks. We can see pathways winding through the trees like gentle streams. We might see an ornamental lake, a small body of water reflecting the sky and the surrounding greenery, a miniature version of the great lake nearby. These parks are the city's lungs, quiet places that breathe life into the urban organism. From our serene position in the sky, we cannot see people enjoying these spaces, but we can appreciate their design and their essential role. They are pockets of peace, deliberately carved out and preserved within the city. The presence of this green network is a sign of a city that lives in harmony with its environment. The interplay between the green of the parks and the colors of the rooftops creates a cityscape that is both vibrant and peaceful, a beautiful balance of the man-made and the natural. As we drift towards the edges of Maracaibo, the character of the landscape begins to change. The dense tapestry of the city gradually loosens, the spaces between buildings widen, and nature begins to reclaim more of the view. This transitional zone, where the urban fades and the wild begins, is a fascinating area to observe from above. It is not an abrupt line, but a slow, gentle blending. Isolated houses and small holdings are scattered amongst patches of scrubland and forest, each seeming to find its own quiet place in the expanding landscape. To the west and south, the land becomes flatter and more agricultural. We can see the neat geometry of farmland, fields laid out in squares and rectangles of varying shades of green and brown. Some fields may be fallow, the rich, dark earth exposed to the sun. Others are covered in young crops, a vibrant light green. The occasional dirt road cuts a straight, pale line through this patchwork. It is a landscape shaped by human hands for the purpose of cultivation, yet it has its own quiet, orderly beauty when viewed from our peaceful height. To the north, along the coast leading towards the Gulf of Venezuela, the environment becomes more untamed. Here, the mangrove forests thicken, forming an almost impenetrable barrier of green. We can see the winding silver threads of tidal creeks and channels cutting through the mangroves, pathways for water but not for people. Beyond the mangroves are stretches of pale, sandy beach and coastal wetlands, areas teeming with life. Though from our perspective, they are simply beautiful, untouched expanses of land and water, shimmering in the tropical heat. This view of the city's periphery reminds us that Maracaibo is an island of human settlement in a much larger sea of nature. It is bordered by the Great Lake on one side and by a vast wild hinterland on the others. It is a beautiful and humbling perspective, watching the orderly patterns of the city give way to the organic, untamed beauty of the Venezuelan wilderness. As the day draws to a close, the quality of the light begins to transform the world below. The sun, now low in the western sky, casts a warm golden glow over everything. This is the golden hour, a time of serene and magical beauty. The colors of the landscape become richer and more saturated. The terracotta rooftops deepen to a burnished bronze. The green of the parks and trees becomes more vibrant, almost luminous. Even the concrete of the city seems to soften, bathed in this gentle, forgiving light that smooths away all harshness. From our aerial perch, we can watch as shadows lengthen dramatically. Every building, every tree, now casts a long, dark shape that stretches eastward across the ground. The city becomes a three-dimensional relief map, its topography and forms accentuated by the low-angle light. The majestic pylons of the bridge cast immense, elongated shadows across the surface of the lake. These moving shadows create a slow, silent drama, a visual representation of the Earth's gentle rotation towards the night. The world seems to slow down, to take a deep, calm breath before sinking into rest. The surface of Lake Maracaibo is now a spectacle of color. The western parts of the lake, closest to the setting sun, are ablaze with fiery orange, deep red, and soft pink. The water is no longer just a mirror for the sky, but a canvas on which the sunset paints its most brilliant masterpiece. Further east, the water remains a deep, tranquil blue, creating a stunning contrast of warm and cool tones. It is a breathtaking sight, a vast watercolor painting that changes moment by moment as the sun sinks closer to the horizon. Floating in the quiet air, we are silent witnesses to this daily miracle. The golden hour over Maracaibo, seen from above, is an unforgettable experience, a final, beautiful gift of light that fills the heart with a sense of peace and wonder. Our journey is coming to an end, but we linger for a final, peaceful gaze. The last vestiges of sunlight have faded from the sky, leaving behind a soft twilight glow. The city below is beginning to twinkle with lights, but they are faint and scattered from our great height, like fallen stars on a dark blanket. The dominant impression is one of stillness and quiet. The grand shapes of the land, the lake, and the city are now silhouettes against the darkening horizon. It is a simple, powerful, and profoundly peaceful image. From this perspective, we have seen Maracaibo not as a busy metropolis, but as a living landscape, a place of surprising tranquility and elegance. We have drifted over its vast lake, traced the graceful arc of its bridge, and admired the colorful tapestry of its homes and the emerald beauty of its parks. We have witnessed the harmonious relationship between the urban and the natural, all from a viewpoint of serene detachment. This aerial view strips away the noise and complexity, revealing the essential beauty and form of the place. This is a journey that can be taken any time in the mind's eye. The invitation is to look beyond the surface, to seek out the quiet perspectives that reveal a different kind of truth. To see a city from above is to understand it in a new way, to appreciate its structure, its relationship with nature, and its inherent beauty. Maracaibo, with its unique setting and character, offers a particularly rewarding vista. It is a reminder that peace and beauty can be found where we least expect it, even in the heart of a city, if we only change our perspective. Let this final image of a tranquil city resting by the water, under a vast and starry sky, remain with you. It is a vision of harmony, a portrait of a place at peace with itself and its surroundings. The soothing aerial views of Maracaibo are more than just pretty pictures. They are an invitation to experience a moment of calm, to float above the world for a while, and to discover the quiet, hidden beauty that lies all around us, waiting to be seen. The silent, sleeping city and the great dark lake hold a timeless and everlasting appeal.